Hello again. I'm a bit puzzled about the fact that people are so cautious about criticising the woman whom Prince Charles' son married, the one who was in a popular television series called, I believe, Suits. She strikes me as pretty unremarkable on the whole, and yet there seems to be great interest in everything she says and does. I suppose that this often happens when somebody marries into the royal family. The job of being married to a member of the British royal family essentially entails keeping your trap shut and simply playing second fiddle to your husband or wife. Obviously, this is not going to be easy for somebody used to being on the television all the time, and so indeed it has proved. The one thing which I can't help noticing is that nobody appears to want to point out when this woman is obviously not telling the truth. This may be either because she and her husband are so ready to issue legal proceedings against those whom they dislike or who irritate them, or it might perhaps be that folks don't want to appear racist. I can't really see why holding her to the same standards as everybody else would be indicative of racial prejudice, but you know how mad people are about this subject these days. What do I mean by holding Meghan Markle? And I suppose, I can't remember whether her name is pronounced Markle or Merkel or what it is. What do I mean by holding her to the same standards as the rest of us? That's really simple. I say things on this channel about the past and the present, often about the past, about history. Sometimes I make mistakes and people point them out. That's quite reasonable. If I don't tell the truth on here, either inadvertently or because I've chosen to tell deliberate lies, then of course people should be free to draw attention to it. If I say something about British history, then that is it's only possible for it to be true or false. There's not really any middle ground. This is an objective matter. Although I didn't watch the interview that Markle gave in America, I read bits of it in the newspapers, and I was astonished to hear the interviewer say that the woman had spoken her truth. I really must remember that one. The next time I make a terrible mistake and I tell people here that the Second World War ended in 1955 and I get pulled up on it, I shall say gently that this is my truth. I mentioned the business about truth because I read something which Meghan Markle said in the interview, which I knew immediately and without the faintest shadow of a doubt was not true. This was when she said that, and I quote, 3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that. We called the Archbishop and we just said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us. So the vows that we have framed in our room are just the two of us in our backyard with the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now, I know nothing at all about what Prince Harry, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and Meghan Markle got up to in their back garden. But I can tell you now, whatever else the three of them were doing, it didn't involve a wedding. How do I know that this was not true? It's easy. In Britain, every marriage ceremony, whether secular or religious, requires by law the presence of at least 5 people. If, as she said, there were only 3 people present, then there couldn't have been a marriage. The whole point of a marriage is to make a public declaration of commitment. That is what marriage essentially is. This means that in addition to the bride and groom, there must be a registrar or minister to conduct the ceremony, and also at least 2 witnesses to represent the public. If there were only 3 people in what Markle described as her backyard, then a marriage would not have been possible. There are 2, and only 2, possible explanations for the woman having made this statement. The first is that she was telling a deliberate lie. If so, then we are entitled to view with suspicion everything else which she said during the interview, in short, to regard her as a liar. The only other possible explanation is that she honestly does not understand the nature of a marriage and the significance of the wedding ceremony. in particular the nature of Christian marriage. This is, I think, even more alarming than if she had simply been telling a lie. These then are the two unattractive possibilities relating to the woman married to the Queen's grandson. Either she is so away with the fairies that she doesn't actually know what day she got married or what a Christian wedding entails, or she's a barefaced liar. Neither is a good look, to say the very least of it. As I said at the beginning, what I find puzzling is that nobody seems eager to state the case out loud and to set the matter out clearly in this way and actually say what everybody else is really thinking. Fear of being thought racist is a very powerful deterrent to speaking plainly, well, certainly these days. For myself, race doesn't enter into the equation. I attribute Meghan Markle's behaviour and way of conducting herself less to do with her skin colour and almost entirely due to the fact that she is a particular kind of weird American. I have not, I hasten to add, anything against Americans in general, but there is a certain type, often from California, who seem to exist on a different plane to the rest of us. They use strange language and have a peculiar look about them, the kind of thing one sees in the more enthusiastic devotees of Scientology or followers of the Guru Maharishi, to give a couple of examples. Again, not all Californians, of course. What I'm driving at is that I get the feeling that this woman is a certain type which transcends race and ethnicity. I truly don't think that her skin colour has any bearing on the matter at all.